kind of, but I basically met Mark. And then Mark had the other two guys in place, and we started to rehearse. And that whole rehearsal kind of structure culminated in making a demo, which I suggested we go to a place called Pathway to use because it was cheap and had a good reputation. It was in Highbury in Islington, near there. And then John had access to Charlie Gillett, who's died recently. He's a disc jockey come rock and roll chronicler who's very respected in the music business. And he said, I think I can get Charlie Gillett to listen to this, which he duly did because he had a radio show in those times, Charlie did. But he was very cute. He said, look, lads, thank you. I will listen to the tape. And he was the cute thing is this, and all people should bear this in mind. He said, I won't listen to it while you're here, but I do promise I will listen to it and I will give you a reaction. Mm-hmm. So what he did, he did duly listen to the tape. What he didn't tell us was that he was so taken with the Sultans, which was on the tape, that he and the day we happened to have visited him in his house, he was compiling his playlist and his timings to make his 90-minute Sunday lunchtime program. And he said he spent a lot of the time rejigging his playlist in order to accommodate Sultans of Swing. And we didn't really know any of this until it had already happened. And I think we were out of town playing somewhere. And people said, oh, we heard you on the radio. I said, that can't be true. But so we phoned Charlie. Yeah, I played you. And he said, what's more, when I did play you, I got this reaction, and then basically an artist, somebody from a record company phoned, a lawyer phoned, and an agent phoned, and this kind of created like a snowball effect in the business because we noticed that people faces we didn't recognise were coming to gigs that we were playing at, and that culminated in a recording contract for Phonogram, and then we made the first record, which was basically the backlog of Mark's best songs so far in his life, So, and that just took off. It didn't take off immediately. In fact, in England, it was very hard to get it away, so to speak. There were all kinds of obstacles. Radio wouldn't play it, said it was too long. It was about 6 minutes 40. Mm-hmm. Other radio stations said it's too wordy, too many words. It was what was it? With days of playlists, I think. But basically, what happened was the record began to sell in America, and there was a radio show on Radio 2, or I think it was Radio 2 then, that actually played the top 20 or top 40 even in America on Sunday.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think it was Paul Gambaccini or something like that played it. And lo and behold, this LP we'd made, been out for ages in England, done nothing. It was in the charts in America. So they began to play it in this chart show format. And all of a sudden, the whole thing was broken open, and people began to play it in England. They thought we were American. I guess that as well. But the really funny story about that is this: that down in Deptford, where we rehearsed, it was near Goldsmith College, and a lot of the students there used this area in Deptford for accommodation because it was an old tenement estate, and it was cheap accommodation, and it was close to the college. So when we'd made this tape, prior to getting it to Charlie, we played it to people to get some reaction, and partly because we were kind of, quite pleased with it, I guess, really. And there was this kind of ambivalence, like, that's quite nice. Yes, yeah, I quite like that. Yeah, that's nice. Yes, just nice little murmurings, Now, picture this: the same people, they heard the same tape in a much less kind of high fidelity environment coming through a transistor radio. And then when they saw us, they went crazy. We heard you on the radio. It was fantastic. It's great. Hey, whoa, all this sort of stuff. And I thought, yeah, I remember that, because it's like when you wanted them to be impressed, they weren't.
Mhm.
And when you thought, well, why are you impressed? Because it's on this tinny little radio. People can do some odd things. But I
Absolutely.
always carry that with me.